Okay, so good everybody. Your quote-unquote favorite DDS lawyer po is back for another video. At ngayon po, yan yung explain ko sa inyo, okay? Pero unang-una po sa lahat, quick disclaimer na lang po sa lahat ng nanonood. Tandaan po ninyo na yung discussion ko dito will revolve heavily around the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte, yung possible impeachment trial po. Therefore po, most likely, yung maging discussions po natin dito is pabor po kay Vice President Sara Duterte. So yung mga ayaw po sa kanya, baka po matrigger kayo. So pwede nyo naman po skip yung video ko kung hindi kayo in favor dito sa mga talaga natin dito is kung ito bang fina-flash ko sa inyo ngayon is this already the official results po ba ng election. So tatandaan po natin, this is from the GMA website. So kita naman po natin yan dito sa upper left, GMA News Online. So of course this is not official because the only government body or the only official body po that can declare the election results is yung COMELEC po, yung may trabaho doon, yung Commission on Elections. Therefore hindi pa po talaga to official. However, ang tatandaan po natin dito is that 97.22% na po yung election returns na na-process na. Therefore, 2.8% na lang po yung kulang. Pero yun nga po, despite na 2.8%, hindi pa rin po to official kasi hindi naman to COMELEC yung nag-declare. Nevertheless po, we can still use this as our basis kasi may nakukuha naman pong copy yung media outlets natin, yung mainstream media when it comes to the election return. So we can use this as a basis po to determine probabilities kung sino yung mga posibleng manalo, okay? So doon po ulitin ko sa first question natin, hindi pa po to official results because this is not a declaration of the COMELEC, rather this is simply a declaration by a mainstream media, specifically that of the GMA News Online, okay? Tapos ngayon, yung pangalawang question natin, kung posible pa ba tong mabago talaga considering may 2.8% pa of the total ERs na kulang kasi ito po makita natin, di ba, 97.22 lang naman eh. Po tatanungin more or less, ang tingin ko ito na po talaga yung magiging final results considering na yun nga 2.8% na lang and then total votes casted was 56 million. So yung 2.8% sa 56 million more or less siguro madadagdagan na lang to ng mga 2 million the most sa total votes. Hindi po tayo aabot dito sa 69.773653 na registered voters kasi tatandaan po natin itong figure na to is total registered voters naman po eh. Hindi naman po 100% talaga sa mga botante is nag-participate or bumoto. Therefore, hindi po tayo aabot dito. More or less po itong 56 sa estimate ko lang po, madadagdagan na lang to ng 2 million the most. At kung titingnan po natin dito ngayon sa results, si Senator Amy Marcos yung number 12 and currently she is already at 13 million. Tapos yung number 13 is at 11.8. Tapos kung titingnan po natin hanggang number 16, yan, 11.3. So that's a difference of close to 2 million. Si Mr. Ben Tulfo is at 11.8, so 1.2 yung difference nila ni Senator Amy. From there po, kung titingnan natin, medyo mahirap na po makahabol. Considering na yung 2 million na kulang, for sure madadagdag or makakuha rin naman dun si Senator Amy Marcos. Labo naman pong mangyari na let's say ito sila Ben Tulfo, sila Bong Revilla bigla makakuha ng 2 million tapos ito si Camille Villar, Lito Lapid, Amy Marcos makakuha ng 0. Malabo pong mangyari yon. Therefore, kung 2 million yung more or less 2 million na lang yung kulang tapos proportionate lahat sila tumaas, yung assessment ko po is more or less ito na po talaga yung magiging final results, okay? Pero again, klaruhin ko lang po, hindi pa po to official because this is only from the GMA News Online. Nevertheless po, yung discussion na lang natin for today, tandaan po ninyo, will revolve around these results po na pinapakita ko sa inyo, okay? So let's say eventually in 1 week from now, magbago bigla yung official results ng COMELEC. Yan po, that is already beyond my control kasi currently ito lang po yung pinapagbasihan natin sa discussion po natin for today's video. So ngayon, punta naman po tayo sa posibleng epekto nitong resulta ng elections dun sa impeachment, sa possible impeachment trial po against Vice President Sara Duterte. So unang-una po, para maintindihan nyo talaga yung voting requirement sa impeachment trial, titingnan po natin yan sa 1987 Constitution, specifically Article 11, Accountability of Public Officers. Tapos from there po, bumabalang kayo niyan dito sa Section 3, number 6. Okay, so dito po makikita natin nakalagay dyan, the Senate shall have the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. So alam nyo naman po siguro na yung Senate yung tatayong impeachment trial court at sila din yung mag-decide whether to convict or acquit an impeachable officer who is currently under an impeachment trial proceeding. Tapos kung titingnan po ninyo sa last sentence po nitong number 6, nakalagay din po dyan, no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of all members of the Senate. Senate. So 2/3 requirement po of all the members. Okay, so all the members of Senate po is of course 24 members po yan. Hindi po bibilangin yung mga nanalo lang this midterm elections at yung nanalo in the previous elections. Yung dalawang batch po yun yung bibilangin, total of 24 po, hindi po 12 yung magde-decide. Okay, so ngayon ang next question natin, what is 2/3 of 24? Ang 2/3 po of 24 is 16. So therefore po, kailangan makakuha ng 16 votes who will vote in favor of a conviction in order for VP Sara to be convicted dun sa impeachment trial niya, dun sa eventual impeachment trial niya po sa Senate. Yan po yung requirement nila na boto. So kung 16 ang kailangan, ibig sabihin po dyan, kung meron lang 9 na hindi mag-vote in favor of conviction, automatic po acquitted dyan ngayon si Vice President Sara Duterte as the accused facing an impeachment trial. Okay, so ngayon na alam nyo na po yung figures when it comes to conviction of impeachment, ngayon punta na po tayo dun sa composition ng Senate. Yung mga tingin ko po, ito po personal observation ko lang to, personal analysis ko of the situation. This does not necessarily mean tama ako or what. This is simply, ito personal opinion ko na to. So ito pwede nyo po kontrahin yung statement ko dito. Okay, so ngayon tingnan po muna natin yung nanalo this midterm election, this 2025 midterm elections. So of course, yung number 1 po so far, based on this report lang po, hindi po sa official COMELEC pa talaga, based on this report from GMA News Online, 97.22 total ERs processed. So of course, alam naman po natin si Senator Bongo, siya yung most likely closest to 100% na who will never vote to convict Vice President Sara Duterte. Yan yung reality po sa nakikita kong situation, considering si Senator Bongo is very closely tied up po yan siya with the Duterte family. So yan, number 1, ito very obvious, si Senator Bongo will be in favor of Vice President Sara Duterte. Yung number 2 naman po natin, si Senator Bam Aquino. Sila Senator Bam Aquino po pala, i-clarify ko lang din, they are not really part of the admin. However, kung titingnan po kasi natin yung mga ano nila ngayon, yung political tendencies sila, political actions, political leanings sila, mas in favor po sila dun sa admin, di ba? Kasi kung makikita natin sila Senator Bam Aquino, sila Senator Kiko Pangilinan, mas nakipag-communicate sila with PBBM. So therefore, although hindi po sila directly included sa lineup nung alyansa ng admin slate, we can still consider, or more or less po tingin ko, is papabor or susunod pa rin to sila sa admin side. Plus the mere fact na yung liberal po talaga, yung liberals is galit talaga sa Duterte group naman, di ba? So makikita po natin dyan si Senator Honti Veros, she is very vocal against FPRRD, especially nung pumunta po sa Senate si FPRRD before. So ito po more or less si Bam Aquino vote for a conviction against Vice President Sara. 1:1 na sila, di ba? 1 for acquittal, 1 for conviction. Ngayon punta po tayo sa number 3. So of course si Senator Bato de la Rosa, alam din naman natin, he is very linked towards the Duterte group, the PDP laban, opposition din po talaga yan siya. So ngayon, dalawa na po yung vote ni Vice President Sara Duterte for acquittal po. So 2-1 na. And then ngayon pag pumunta po tayo sa number 4 kay Erwin Tulfo. So si Tulfo po is also currently very pro-admin, di ba? More or less po, if we will just simplify the computation, kung titingnan lang po natin yung basis ng botohan in relation to party affiliations without the substance pa po of the case. Sa ngayon po dito sa number 4 with Erwin Tulfo is 2:2 na po. Bongo, Bato for acquittal, Bam Aquino and Tulfo for conviction. Ngayon sa number 5 naman po si Kiko Pangilinan. Of course, same explanation with Senator Bam Aquino. So he will also most likely vote for conviction. And then si Kong Rodante Marcoleta. So alam din natin si Kong Dante, he is part of the opposition, di ba? Siya lang yung iisa, dalawa lang sila actually sa Congress who really stood up for Vice President Sara Duterte. Actually tatlo po pala sila, if my memory serves me right, si Kong Dante, and then si Kong Ungab of Davao City, and then yung Duterte Youth Party List. Sila yung very vocal talaga dun sa lower house, sa House of Representatives, in standing up for Vice President Sara Duterte. Okay, so Kong Dante will be for acquittal most likely, and then si Senator Ping Lacson, again assuming lang for due to party stance, since part to siya nung alyansa slate, baka mag-vote pa rin to in favor of conviction. Then si Tito Soto, he is also part of alyansa, so same, vote pa rin po for conviction. And then si Senator Pia Cayetano po, si Senator Pia, she is part of the alyansa, di ba? Makikita naman natin siya sa alyansa slate, sa senatorial slate ng alyansa. However, kung titingnan din po natin, yung kuya po niya, si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, is very vocal po nung diba, nung inarrest and surrender si FPRRD to the ICC. He was very vocal. He clearly explained due process. Dapat daw may due process talagang nasunod, so on and so forth. So from there po makita natin yung kuya ni Senator Pia, si Senator Alan, is leaning towards more of the Duterte group. So kung magkasundo talaga to silang dalawang magkapatid, edi more or less po ito si Senator Pia, although part siya ng alyansa, may chance na posible siyang ma-convince for an acquittal instead of a conviction. Okay, so ito si Senator Pia, 50-50 siya yung assessment ko po, personal assessment ko, despite her being part of the alyansa group. Okay, and then number 10 si Camille Villar, Senator Camille Villar. Ito po, I'm sure she will be voting for the acquittal of Vice President, considering siya po and si Senator Amy last minute, di ba, naging sinama po sila as guest candidates dun sa PDP slate. Tapos kung titingnan din po nyo yung voting nila dun sa lower house nung sa impeachment na ni Vice President, hindi po nag-sign to si Senator, si then Congresswoman Camille Villar, hindi po siya nag-sign in favor of the impeachment. Okay? So ito si Lito Lapid, for simplicity purposes po, since part of the alliance, ilagay na lang din po natin siya sa in favor of conviction. And of course, si Senator Amy, same with Senator Camille Villar. So nasama po sila as guest candidates dun sa PDP laban, and Senator Amy is actually very vocal din daw na pipigilan niya yung impeachment, ganyan, and she will do everything she can in relation dun sa pag-arrest and surrender kay FPRRD. So more or less po, for acquittal din to siya. So from the midterm elections po, from the 2025 midterm elections, makikita po natin talaga na mukhang 5 na ang sure na magvo-vote for the acquittal of Vice President Sara Duterte versus 7 na manggagaling dun sa admin group, sa alyansa group, or those most likely is part of the admin group like that of Senator Bam and Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Okay, so 7-5. So ngayon, punta na po tayo dun sa next part ng discussion natin, which is the current sitting senators, kung sino ba dun yung mga favorable sa kay Vice President or against Vice President Sara Duterte in relation po sa impeachment niya. Pero bago po natin ituloy yung discussion doon, quick reminder lang po, wag niyo po sana kalimutan mag-subscribe kung nasa YouTube kayo nanonood, or mag-follow naman po kung nasa TikTok or Facebook kayo nanonood. Okay? Lalo na po kung nakailang ulit na kayo manood sa videos ko, kung isang buwan na po kayong nanonood, sana naman po mapindot yun na yung subscribe or follow button, diba? Kasi I'm assuming kung paulit-ulit na kayo nanonood is you are enjoying or you appreciate my videos. Therefore, kung gusto niyo po maging updated sa content ko, the best way for you is to follow or subscribe po dun sa appropriate channel ko. Okay? So ngayon, tuloy po tayo sa discussion. Okay, so ito na po, yung next part natin. May kita po natin the 12 sitting senators po is number 1, Alan Peter Cayetano, Senator J.V. Ejercito, Senator Chis Escudero, Senator Jinggoy, Senator Win, Senator Risa, Senator Loren, Senator Robin Padilla, Senator Raffy Tulfo, Senator Joel Villanueva, Senator Mark Villar, and Senator Migs Zubiri. Okay, so 12 senators po yan lahat-lahat. So unang-una po si Senator Alan Peter. Personally, tingin ko po she will not vote for the conviction of Vice President Sara Duterte in the impeachment, considering he is very pro-Duterte po. Although mas dikit po siya kay FPRRD. However, since this is politics we're talking about, tapos impeachment is really a numbers game, so I'm sure Senator Alan Peter Cayetano will be leaning more towards an acquittal rather than a conviction po. Okay? So si Senator JV, hindi ko po mabasa talaga si Senator JV. He is very, para talaga siyang independent. Yun yung vibe niya ko. Ako po tatanungin. He is very quiet on the issue in relation dun kay FPRRD. Tapos, hindi rin naman siya nagpapakita. Wala tayong nakikitang anything significant na dumidikit-dikit siya kay Vice President Sara Duterte. So, I think he will be one of those clear na 50-50 talaga. Maybe, more or less po sa tingin ko, Senator JV will look at the substance or the merits of the case rather than political affiliation. So, si Senator JV po, tingin ko dyan 50-50 siya. Ngayon, ang next po natin is si Senator Chis Escudero. Of course, si Senator Chis Escudero, he is the sitting Senate President. So, sa tingin naman po natin, medyo obvious na he will most likely vote in favor dun sa direction ng admin, which is for a conviction. Okay? So, si Senator Jinggoy po, kung titingnan natin ngayon, he is actually part of the majority. However, nag-involve po siya dun sa hearings, sa committee hearings po ni Senator Amy regarding dun sa pag-arrest and surrender kay FPRRD. So, si Senator Jinggoy, tingin ko po mas leaning towards to siya an acquittal rather than a conviction. Although, more or less, nasa ano pa rin po yan siya, nasa gitnang side. Pero yun nga, tingin ko mas nagli-lean towards acquittal rather than conviction. Okay? Pero quick reminder lang po tayo ulit ha. Hindi ko po tinatouch on na yung substance dito. Tinitingnan ko na lang po yung possible decision nitong mga senators natin based on party affiliations for simplicity purposes. Okay? And again, ulitin ko lang po, these are all my personal opinion po, personal analysis ko lang po to of the situation. Hindi ko po sinasabi ako yung tama. Ang next naman po is si Senator Win Gatchalian. So Senator Win Gatchalian, he is currently affiliated with the Independent, same with Senator JV. So yung Independent po actually, ito yung sila yung hindi talaga part of the majority, hindi rin part of the minority or opposition. Pero from experience kasi sa nakikita ko po yung Independent, mas leaning towards ano to sila, opposition/minority talaga rather than sa admin. Ang problem lang dito kay Senator Win Gatchalian Gatchalian is that yung brother niya, si Secretary Rex Gatchalian, is currently the DSWD Secretary. Therefore, hindi naman si Senator Win directly, pero yung family niya via dun kay Secretary Rex has connections directly towards the admin. So from there, siguro masasabi natin na although 50-50 is mas leaning towards conviction, possible, yun po yung personal assessment ko of the situation dito ni Senator Win Gatchalian. So ngayon punta naman po tayo kay Senator Risa Hontiveros, Akbayan. So I'm sure si Senator Risa, she will vote for a conviction po talaga. So yun po yung nakita ko talaga, mataas yung chance na si Senator Risa will really vote for conviction. Although hindi naman po part si Senator Risa talaga ng admin, diba? Kasi similar position to sila ni Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Kiko Pangilinan. However, since yun nga, mas kaaway nila ngayon yung Duterte group, so more or less kakampihan nila yung side po ni PBBM. Therefore, pag ganyan, mas mataas yung chance na mag-vote sila most likely towards a conviction rather than an acquittal. Okay? So ito naman, punta tayo kay Senator Loren Legarda. So Senator Loren is also an independent, pero ang nakikita ko, ang vibe ni Senator Loren is parang mas mas pro Duterte group siya rather than pro PBBM group, diba? She is very quiet actually on the issues, pero yung dating po sa akin, yung personal observation ko lang po kay Senator Loren is mas po siya, mas leaning towards the Duterte group rather than the admin. Therefore, kahit na po sabihin natin independent, 50-50, mas mataas yung leanings towards an acquittal rather than a conviction ni Senator Loren. Okay? Plus yung kay Senator Loren din po pala, yung kapatid niya na congressman dun sa Antique, hindi rin nag-vote in favor dun sa pag-impeach kay Vice President Sara Duterte. So kung dyan po iti-take natin in consideration yung actions ng family nila sa lower house, edi ako po tingin ko mas pabor to siya sa Duterte group or sa Duterte side si Senator Loren. Okay? So ngayon yung next po natin is si Senator Robin Padilla. Si Senator Robin Padilla, I believe, is very self-explanatory. He is, if I'm not mistaken, he is the president currently of PDP Laban. He is also the campaign manager of PDP Laban. Therefore, he will do everything he can to really support the party po nila, one of which is to fight against the impeachment of Vice President Sara Duterte. So si Senator Robin po, again, very self-explanatory considering he is PDP. So ngayon, ang next po natin is si Senator Raffy Tulfo. So si Senator Raffy Tulfo po, yung partido niya is independent. However, in the Senate proper, he is part of the majority. And nakikita rin naman natin yung actions ng mga Tulfo is mas leaning towards the admin talaga, to support the admin. So therefore, ito si Senator Tulfo, most likely po, he will be voting for the conviction in the impeachment proceedings. Okay, so ngayon si Senator Joel Villanueva naman po tayo. He is an independent. Independent po yung party niya. Tapos sa Senate, he is also part of the independent bloc. So Senator Joel, tingin ko po mas maka pro Duterte to siya kaysa sa pro admin. Plus the mere fact na yung church nila, yung JIL, tingin ko mas leaning towards rin po than dun sa Duterte group rather than the admin. And he was also very vocal din nung nagkaroon ng mga budget cuts dun sa office of the Vice President. Si Senator Joel Villanueva really spoke against those budget cuts. So from there po, if we take everything in consideration, kahit po independent si Senator Joel, again 50-50, pero mas leaning towards an acquittal. Yun po yung observation ko. So si Senator, next po natin is si Senator Mark Villar. So si Senator Mark Villar po is more or less similar din po to siya kay Senator Camille Villar. Plus nakita natin yung whole family of Villars, kahit na po kay former Senate President Manny Villar, they are very vocal in showing their support. Actually, ito si Senator Mark Villar, nung na-arrest and surrender po si FPRRD sa ICC, gumawa siya ng post about it. Tapos sa birthday pa ni FPRRD, gumawa rin talaga siya ng personal post about it sa social media niya. So from there, makita natin na talagang nakaalay po or mas leaning towards helping the Dutertes po talaga yung Villar family. So of course, Senator Mark Villar, kahit po majority to siya at present, I personally believe na he will be voting for an acquittal. And then yung next po natin and yung last po is si Senator Mig Zubiri, who is also an independent. Yung party niya, tapos yung affiliation niya sa Senate is an independent. Tingin ko po, he will also be voting for an acquittal. Mas mataas chance yung acquittal considering he was a former Senate President who was ousted because pinayagan ni Senator Migs na mag-conduct nung investigation, di ba, against dun kila FPRRD, yung kay Senator Bato na committee hearing na pinasalita nila si FPRRD, at dahil dun na-oust si Senator Migs as the Senate President. Therefore, I believe he will be, may hinanakit pa siya sa admin, yun yung point ko. Plus the mere fact that he's also from Bukidnon, that is a province in Mindanao, so mas may leanings or mas may connection din po siya to Mindanao candidates, which is yun, sila Duterte families from Davao City. So ang tingin ko po si Mig Zubiri, mas mataas yung chance towards an acquittal rather than a conviction, kahit na po independent siya. Okay? So kung titingnan po natin yung sure talaga, 'di ba, una yung 5 dito sa mga nanalo for the midterm elections, si Bongo, si Bato, si Dante Marcoleta, si Camille, and si Amy Marcos, Senator Amy. So that's already 5, 'di ba? So tapos ngayon punta po tayo dito, si Senator Alan Peter, I think sure din to siya. So that's already 6. And then si Robin Padilla, that's already 7. Tapos tingin ko rin po talaga si Mark Villar, Senator Mark Villar. So that's already 8. So ngayon may 8 na po si Vice President Sara Duterte. Ang kailangan lang po ni Vice President is 9 votes or 9 senators who will not vote in favor of a conviction para ma-acquit siya. Isa na lang yung kailangan natin. So dun po sa mga 50-50, yung choices natin is si Senator JV 1, si Senator Jinggoy 2, Senator Loren 3, Senator Joel 4, Senator Mig Zubiri 5. So dun sa 50-50, may 5 pong 50-50. So imposible naman kung 50-50 nga po dun sa 5, walang isa na mag-vote for an acquittal. So kahit isa lang po dun sa 5 na 50-50 ang pumunta sa acquittal, meron na pong 9 na senators automatic si Vice President Sara Duterte. So therefore po, ang pinaka-point ko dito, considering the result in the midterm elections, these 2025 midterm elections, mas mukhang makakahinga-hinga ng malalim si Vice President Sara Duterte in relation po to her impeachment trial. Assuming magtuloy po talaga yon. Kasi dun pa nga lang po makita natin, meron na siyang 8, tapos may 5 50-50. Paano po kung yung 5 50-50 na yun, lahat mag-vote din for acquittal? So from 8 plus 5, that's 13 votes already. So mas lumamang pa ngayon yung acquittal. Assuming po maubos yung 50-50 lahat ng acquittal, mas lalamang yung acquittal rather than a conviction. Okay? So again, ulitin ko lang po, overall yung assessment ko po, mas maganda yung chances ngayon ni Vice President Sara Duterte considering may 5 sure dito sa midterms, tapos dito ngayon sa current sitting may 3 sure, 8 agad, tapos makakuha lang siya ng isa dun sa mga 50-50, guaranteed na po na hindi mako-convict si Vice President Sara Duterte in her impeachment trial. Okay? Plus titingnan pa natin, di ba, si Senator Pia hindi pa sinama sa bilang yon, kung ma-convince pa yun ng Kuya Alan niya, therefore yung sure agad ni Vice President Sara is 9 votes na agad. So yan lang po yung personal observation ko regarding this situation. Okay? So kung gusto nyo po mapanood yung dati kong video na parang ganito rin na nagmaritesan lang po tayo in relation dun sa assumptions ko when it comes to the voting, pwede nyo po panoorin yan. Ilalagay ko na lang po sa gilid ng mukha ko yung luma kong video, tapos bahala na lang po kayo mag-compare kung tingin ba ninyo na tama tong assessment ko dati at kung tama yung assessment ko currently of the situation considering the result of the midterm election.